Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Tennessee. I am the bearded gentleman, better known as the BG, and I actually have someone very special in the studio today. This is my personal friend, Whitney Kenner Jones, and she has some very exciting things going on. So tell us about yourself, Whitney.
Well, I definitely appreciate you for having me on. I don't know if I'll be calling you the BG for this interview, but I definitely appreciate our friendship and you having me on here. And you're right, I do have some exciting things to announce. I am running for Douglas County Commissioner for District 2. I'm very excited to be the next commissioner to fight for the residents and the people of Douglas County. And so I hope that after this interview, they'll have a little bit more information and insight to who I am and what I bring to the table.
Okay. I think I might have a new co host. So, Whitney, how's the journey been so far?
So far, so good. You know, it's really exciting and energizing to have the opportunity to mix and mingle with people. As you know, I'm a military brat, so from a little bit of everywhere. And so, in my opinion, diversity is the spice of life. I love being able to meet people at all walks of life, all different stations, and being on the campaign trail is one of the best ways to do that. It can be tiresome at times, but it's for the greater good, and so I'm just excited to be able to do it.
Okay. So I know you have some very important dates coming up. Tell us what those dates are and what you have going on during those dates.
So from now until March 8th, you can go and early vote. I want to make sure that people know that early voting right now is not just for my race, it's also for the presidential primary. I know a lot of people have become so jaded, feel disenfranchised, whatever. But at this particular point in time, we cannot afford to have people sitting this election out. This is a presidential preference primary, so please make sure that you do go and vote. If you're in Douglas County and District 2, obviously I need you to check Whitney Kenner Jones on that ballot. But between now and March 8th, you can early vote. We do have one Saturday voting day left between now and March 8th. And then March 12th is actual election day.
Okay. Tell us about your donations. What's the process if someone wants to donate to your campaign?
So if you would like to donate to my campaign, we will definitely take it. As most people know, running an election can be quite expensive. And so my advice or urging request would be that you go to www.electwhitneykennerjones.com. At the top, you will see a trending donate logo. You can click on that. It'll take you straight to a secure payment processing website. You can select the amounts. All amounts are welcome, large or small. People have been donating everything from $20.24 up to $2,500. So please go out, do what you can. I would really appreciate that.
And the deadline for that is when?
So this first round of donations, we are trying to get those in by February the 29th. We want to have one really large push closer to the end of early voting, making sure that we have as much signage out as possible. We're trying to make sure that we can get our RAC cards and voter information into every voter's hands. So if we could get those donations in by February the 29th, we would greatly appreciate it.
Okay. So I need to make sure I have my people to go ahead and write that check out for $15,000 and go ahead and
absolutely. We take cash, check, credit cards, loose change, money orders, you name it, we take it.
You know, I got to ask you a black folks question.
Okay.
Y'all got Cash App?
We do. I do take Cash App, and I will ensure that I put the appropriate, if you use Cash App, make sure that you list your name, occupation, and your address in the memo line so that we can meet our financial reporting obligations. But yes, we will take it by Cash App.
Okay, cool. Now, I know the people watching are probably like, what does this have to do with tennis? So our tennis family is pretty big. It's all over Metro Atlanta. We have a lot of people that play out of Deer Lick Park, which is right in your district.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you have a lot of people in the tennis family that will be tuning in and potentially voting for you, Whitney. So, okay. These are some questions that some of our subscribers...
Can I just take you back to your last statement, though, in terms of why it would matter to your tennis family to vote for somebody like me? So I grew up as a lifelong athlete. I've played many, many sports, even through college. I was a cheerleader in college, a competitive athlete. And part of what commissioners are responsible for are the allocation of your tax dollars to public goods. And so, what that means is we are determining what budgets look like for your parks and recreation, your public services, your road infrastructure, and things like that. And so, if you love playing at Deer Lake Park, and I do hope that you do, I love to go to Deer Lake Park and hang out. I am not good at tennis. Let me just be crystal clear about
We're going to
that.
get us some tennis lessons in, folks.
I need more than one. But you really want to have a commissioner that understands that it's best for every member of your community to have public works like public pools, public tennis centers, basketball courts, because one, you have to have somewhere for youth to go to be able to play, but you also have to have cost affordable options for individuals so that people don't get priced out of doing the things that they love to do. And the more things that have to be privatized directly impact the ability of citizens to use and enjoy those services. And so we really want to make sure that we're paying attention when we go to that ballot box and making sure that you have a candidate and a representative that understands that.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Okay. So, what is your vision for Douglas County?
So to me, Douglas County has no reason not to be the best in the West, period. People in Douglas County at this point are very highly educated. And, you know, people always talk about education from are you very degreed? But yes, we have a lot of people with degrees, but we have a lot of skilled trade workers there. So corporations that want to bring their businesses to Douglas County have a ready-made workforce of individuals that can help towards their bottom line, towards their output. I would love to see opportunities to bring more entertainment districts to Douglas County. I would like to see expansion in terms of our infrastructure so that we are more marketable and more desirable to businesses so that we can increase that tax base. I also think it's really important that we are increasing education access and opportunities so that we don't have to either look for privatized options to have things for our kids to do. But I'm tired of driving down to Atlanta. I'm going to just be honest. I don't want to come all the way over here if I want good music and nice food offerings, good places to shop. And I definitely think that Douglas County has the perfect time, perfect space, perfect location to bring those things to the residents. So we're definitely going to be the best in the West. Watch out, Alpharetta. We're coming for you.
Okay. I hear you. Okay. So I know this campaign has been time consuming. I think that would be putting it lightly. How has it impacted your family life?
I think it has impacted us in a positive way. I love having had a personal hands-on opportunity to bring the importance of civics to my kids. They love to come to meet and greets or enjoying people, meeting new people. They've made many new friends. So I definitely think that is helpful and beneficial. It's definitely given me and TJ a lot of stuff to, have pillow talk about in the evening. Ooh, did you see that? Did you do this? So that's nice. Of course, it's stressful to anybody, but I also realize now how strong my family unit actually is, and I'm just very appreciative of it.
Okay. So now I got to give my boy some shine. I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question. Who's your biggest supporter?
Tavares Jermaine Jones.
The whole government name.
The whole government name.
Okay. My boy TJ. All right. Cool. So what makes you better than the other candidates?
I think I'm better than the other candidates for a lot of reasons, actually. One, I do think from an education perspective, so I do have a bachelor's degree in public health, community health education. I have a master's degree in public administration, and then I also have a law degree. And from a practical perspective, my public health, community health education degree has helped me understand how systems play together.
Okay.
If one chain in the wheel is broken or not working well, all of your other systems fall apart. And so that has given me a perspective of you can't think, oh, I'm going to fix one system in a silo and not address other things, and also making sure that you understand how education and public health and mental health really do play a role in how successful your city can actually be, or your county can actually be, because you can have all the resources in the world, but if your people are not healthy, it's still not going to flourish and thrive in the way that it needs to. From a public administration perspective, making sure that you understand the brass tacks of carrying out administrative functions. And then from a law perspective, just making sure that you understand, like, I know on day one, I can hit the ground running. I already know how IGAs or intergovernment agreements or MOUs, memorandums of understanding, operate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to be behind the eight ball on that. I also understand the importance of negotiations and mediations, and everybody is not ever going to get 100% of what they want. But if I can come to the table and we can all agree to leave with 80% of what we have asked for, then we all leave the table in the best position possible. I have seen situations where people have tried to argue to get their whole 100% and they leave with nothing. And so we have to have level-headed commissioners that understand that, who can have conversations with the county attorney, who can have conversations with the county manager, who can have conversations with the other commissioners, who can also work with the city council. People forget the city council, or the city of Douglasville, is the largest business in Douglas County.
Okay.
We have to make sure that that is taken care of. That's right in our backyard. And so I think the general understanding of how those systems work make me a more qualified candidate. These are also things that I do on a very, very, very regular basis. And so I think that helps. I also think my diversity of experience makes a huge difference. My friends and family joke me that I have lived like a gypsy and I have been a jack of all trades. And people love to say, oh, a jack of all trades is, whatever that saying is. I'd rather be a jack of all trades than whatever. But I do think that it benefits you to understand on a minute playing field how different things work, so you can have compassion for how someone else is thinking about something, so that you can recognize that your idea or your opinion about something is not always going to be right, and that's okay. And then also recognizing that there are sometimes ways to merge both ideas to get the best outcome, and I don't necessarily see that from the other candidates in this race. They all have a very niche area of expertise or level of work that they have done, and that's just not my story. I've also, a lot of people in my race are lifelongers they were born and raised in Douglas County. I've lived in 9 states. I've lived in different countries, and I do think that it is a benefit to bring a diverse way of thinking to the problem, because you may get a better opportunity to problem solve out of that. And I'm not going to shy away from, I do genuinely believe that is a benefit. I feel like leadership at all levels look for that. If you go and look at Google or Microsoft or Amazon, they don't want a CEO or a director or a president who's only ever done one thing. They want someone who's had experiences at all different levels. So I think that I definitely bring that to the table. And I'm a mom, and a working mom at that. We can do it all at this point. So it is what it is.
Whitney, you are knocking these questions out of the park. So after you make Douglas County Commissioner, you got to set aside some time to be my other co-host. All right. How about, do we have a deal?
We have a deal.
All right. So give me a post-election. What is the typical Jones household going to look like on any given weekend?
I think it will probably look the same as how it looks already. Busy. Okay. Busy. We have very few weekends at our house where we are just laid back and hanging out. But I think that that's good. I am a person that kind of thrives under pressure. I love the pace, the go of it all, because I think when it's time to wind down and just be with my family, we appreciate it so much more. And I love a good vacation, so we'll have time for more of those too.
I think anyone who follows you on IG knows you like a good vacation.
I do.
What else you want to add? Do some freestyling. Go for it. Go for what you know.
I just want to make sure I guess in this race more than anything, I don't want people to get caught up in what is flowery or sounds good. I want people to make sure that they're really listening when the candidates do answer these questions. Facts and figures are great, but they need to be accurate.
Okay.
And I also think that people need to be able to demonstrate that they actually have an understanding of what commissioners do. And I say that because when I'm out and I'm talking to residents, I find that they're often disheartened because they feel like their leadership or their representatives are not listening to them. Mm-hmm. And in about 2 to 3 minutes, it's pretty clear to me that through no fault of their own, they don't actually know who's responsible for what. If you have an issue with your school district or your school system, who should you be talking to? If you're having a problem with your public works, who should you be talking to? If you're having a problem with your taxes, who should you be talking to? And I just want to make sure that voters are really listening and understand that commissioners aren't a one-stop shop. If you have a problem with your HOA, yes, we can support you, but we can't fix it. And so making sure that people are aware of that so that people want to stay engaged with the process. I kind of almost feel like that's why people have that idea of all politicians lie. And I do think that there's unfortunately some truth to that. I think that a lot of politicians and you know, good, bad, or indifference, if that makes me popular or unpopular, it is what it is at this point. I'm not going to lie to you. Right. If it is something that I cannot do or it's not the role or responsibility of this position, then we're going to have to both be uncomfortable with me saying, I'm sorry, but that's not the role of this position. But let me connect you to who can do that for you. Versus people who are out answering questions or making generalized statements as though that is something that they actually can do should they be elected to this position. And I simply don't think that that's fair to the people who we are hoping to be elected to represent. And so I think that that is what it means to lead with honesty and integrity and just a deliberate drive to make sure that you are being transparent with people, that you are actually solving the problems that you can solve, and that you are working in a concerted effort with the other members of leadership across various different platforms to meet the needs of the people that you're elected to represent.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so one more time, let people know about the dates, and after that, let them know where you can be reached on social media.
So you can vote between now and March the 8th. The polls are open from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. for your early voting hours. You do have a Saturday early voting this Saturday. So if you cannot get through the polls because of your work schedule, Monday through Friday, you can definitely go on Saturday. And then election day is on March the 12th. You can find me on social media. You can find me on Facebook at Elect Whitney Kenner Jones. You can find me on Instagram at Whitney Kenner Jones. And of course, you can also find all of our information on our website at electwhitneykennerjones.com.
Okay. All right. So, Whitney, there is one last order of business. Since you are the very first guest on the Tennessee, you got to sign my balls. You got to sign my balls. So you don't have to sign both my balls, but you got to sign one.
I can do that. I'm going to be like John Hancock, the biggest one on here.
There you go.
Let anybody sign over me.
All right. Thank you.
I definitely appreciate you for having me, though.
Thank you, Whitney, for coming. And that's it.
Thank you.